El Male Rachamim Shochen Mameromi El Male Rachamim Shochen Mameromi Amtse Menucha Nechona Sally Kempton Tachat Kanfe Ashchina.
If my words did glow with the gold of sunshine, and my tunes were played on the harp unstrung, would you hear my voice come through the music? Would you hold it near as it were your own? It's a hand-me-down. The thoughts are broken. Perhaps they're better.
I would like to introduce now two ladies who I'm sure, well, I know everyone is aware by this time that there are a lot of women in this country who feel that they're being pushed around, and they have become very vocal. They call themselves the Women's Liberation Movement, and we have two representatives from that movement here tonight. They're both writers. Susan Brownmiller had a piece in the Sunday Times a couple of weeks back, and Sally Kempton is the other lady, and I would like you to meet those two ladies. Maybe we can find out what the women are all upset about. Will you welcome them, please? Are you Sally?
Yes.
Yes. Well, you've brought cigarettes. Could I not light it for you?
No.
Okay. Just a little joke, you see.
Would you like to not light it for me?
Is it true that you travel in pairs for some reason, or is this just a
There is a political reason why we came tonight together.
political reason?
Yes.
Oh, you want to leap right into that?
Sure. The Women's Liberation Movement says sisterhood is powerful, and that means women together.
Well, what is it you want done, if you could wave a magic wand now, that would release you from the yoke of this oppression that you all talk about? What would do it quickly? Is it a whole change of attitude in the Western world?
Yeah. It's a change in education, really. Women are brought up in really hundreds of ways. I mean, from the time they're 2 and 3 years old, to be cute and coquettish and intellectually unserious, to seduce people instead of saying what they want. I think it would be, what we would really like is for there to be no necessity for seduction in the world at all, and particularly for there to be no necessity for women to seduce men to get what they want.
In terms of degrading and wearing a bunny tail, the parallel that's usually made is, why don't you create a women's magazine with nude men? Because there's some kind of a notion that, taking the clothes off is a degrading concept.
Hey, Helen Gurley Brown wants to put a
Yes, I
man
know
in
she does, and I think she may
Cosmopolitan.
do
What do
it.
you think of that and her?
Well, that's another symptom of the same decadent problem, right?
Is
I
she
mean,
just a
yeah.
female hef?
Well, I don't know. I'm sort of...
No,
she's
she
not.
isn't.
I mean, Helen Gurley Brown, at least, was the first person who ever said that it was okay for a woman to be single up into her 40s and 50s. One has to give her that. but she runs a magazine for women who want to know how to get men, just as Mr. Hefner runs a magazine for men who want to seduce women. And we don't think that's a proper, that's a sole relationship between men and women, or even certainly not the most important one. And maybe that's the reason that all these things about male impotence and stuff like that you and Dr. May were talking about earlier has been going on.
Now, some of you are really against marriage completely.
Yes. Yeah, I think most of us feel that the marriage laws are very discriminatory against women.
Except in California with alimony, apparently.
Well,
Would you
Well,
accept alimony if you were divorced?
no.
You wouldn't.
But I would think that a woman who spent her whole life being a housewife and mother should. I think that in such cases, alimony is really the price that men pay for women's oppression.
How do you explain
Yes.
the Margaret Chase Smiths and the Helen Gurley Browns and the Bess Meyersons and who have somehow fought through the system
well,
and gotten
society
there?
always allows a few to get through. There are always loopholes.
But you speak as if there were a conspiracy. They say, let's let these few through, and then these other women will get back in their place.
I really do.
But not a conscious one. You don't think that I go around consciously oppressing women,
I don't
do you?
know if you do. I don't think so, watching your show. I really
Oh.
wouldn't think. You seem to like intelligent women, and you never seem to be afraid to have strong women on your show. I mean, you've had marvelous intellectual discussions with Beverly Sills, Shirley
Yeah,
Chisholm.
but that's because I'm
right?
weak and like to be dominated.
You don't believe that. No, you're not. No, you're confident of your masculinity. Right?
Say that
I'll
again.
say that louder, right? You're
Say-
confident of your masculinity.
I wanted to get that out, so that I'll hear it. Gee, we need another show on this. I'm afraid we have opened so many cans of worms here. I wish we could get to them. That isn't aimed at any of my guests. This turned into a roast Hefner evening. I'm sorry about that.
Dick, I'm going
You'll
to
get
talk about that later.
My name is Sally Kempton. We're in my house in Carmel Valley, California. I came to the practice after having a kind of a radical awakening, which I've talked about before, but I'll tell you the full story. It was the early 1970s. I was in my 20s. I was sitting in my living room with my then boyfriend. We had just taken a psychedelic drug. I can't remember if it was acid or psilocybin, but one of those medicine plants. And we were listening to a record by the Grateful Dead. I was listening to the song "Ripple," which some of you may know. Ripple in still waters. The line that really activated me was, "If I knew the way, I would take you home." And as I was listening to those words, suddenly my awareness opened, and I recognized, I realized, I experienced that there was nothing but love. That all the complexities and the suffering and the pain and the mental stuff that I was concerned with as a downtown New York journalist just dissolved, and all I could see was love, and it was, as you can imagine, ecstatic. So I turned to my boyfriend and I said, "Oh my God, there's nothing but love." And he said, "Haven't you ever taken acid before?" So it was, I tell that story because he was somebody who'd taken acid a lot. I hadn't so much. But I knew that this was not about the drug. This was reality. And the next day, I was a writer. I was a journalist, and I had a fairly substantial contract to write a novel at the time. And I sat down at my typewriter, starting to work on my book, which was all about pain and relationships and all the difficulties between men and women. And I wrote, "What am I going to do? I was supposed to be a novelist of pain, and now I realize the truth is ecstasy."
In still water, when there is no pebble tossed, nor wind to blow, reach out your hand. If your cup be empty, if your cup is full, may it be again, let it be known. There is a fountain that was not made by the hands of men, there is a road, no simple highway between the dawn and the dark of night. And if
Goddess is hidden. The feminine aspect of consciousness has always been hidden. You know, she acts through bodies. She acts through this, you know, the specific forms of this universe, and she's not seen. She's not known. And yet, the greatest sages, the great non-dual sages like Ramana Maharshi and Abhinavagupta, Shankaracharya, Ramakrishna, many, of course, of the great Christian non-dual mystics, were secret worshippers of consciousness of the divine as mother, as goddess, undoubtedly because of their inner experience. And very often they loved goddess in secret. That force of becoming that becomes all this and also becomes every state of mind, that force is feminine. That force is a frequency of vibration that we recognize the more deeply we go into it as a fundamentally feminine force, a force of beauty, a force of wholeness, a force that you know actually becomes pregnant with the world, delivers the world, and then nourishes the world. He's one of the most brilliant integral evolutionary philosophers around. Like Ken and Deepak, he has that capacity to see through into the patterns of existence, and he has the courage and audacity to speak the new paradigms. Last summer, I was having lunch with Marc and Michael Murphy, the founder of Esalen, who's also one of the cutting-edge prophets or heart master evolutionary theorists, integral theorists of his generation. And he said, very rarely do you meet someone who changes the game. Marc, he said, you're changing the game. With all that, the deepest truth that I experience about Marc, as Diane said this morning, is that he does really have the most robust heart of anyone I know. I come from a lineage of heart masters, and I pride myself on being able to recognize one when I see one. So when I tell you, or that is when I tell you, as I think you already know, that Marc is a heart master, I know what I'm talking about.
And if you go, no one may follow. That path is for your steps alone.
Through
Let's sit in a comfortable upright posture. Let's align the body through the breath. And let's ask for the goddess to be present in the form she wants to be present for you now. So as your awareness focuses on the breath, imagine yourself in a place where you feel safe, where you feel inspired, and where you feel a sense of the sacred. It could be a temple. It could be a garden. It could be a grove of redwoods. It could be a moonlight beach. And sitting there, notice your surroundings and begin now to call on the sacred feminine power, the energy and love of the Divine Mother. But this time you're not going to try to invoke her in any specific form. Instead, you're going to open yourself to the subtle energy of Shakti, to the Divine Mother energy as she wants to manifest for you now in this moment. She may take a form, but she may also appear to you as a mass of golden light, of a sun, or simply as a feeling of presence. Sit with the sense that you're sitting in the presence of the Divine Feminine, the Great Mother, the one who embraces you. And as you become aware of the presence of this Divine Feminine energy, this being, you may want to call her by name, or even to silently repeat the ancient mantra of the Divine Mother, Ma. Ma. Ma is her name in every language. Consider that this syllable Ma contains the yearning and the love of countless practitioners who received the grace of the Divine Feminine as Mother. Let yourself be present with the radiance of this being who incarnates the divine. Recognize that the Divine Mother longs to help you open to your highest self, to recognize yourself as love. And as if the Great Mother has placed her hand on your head, feel that from her hand flows a stream of golden light, a living radiance, a loving effulgence that flows down from her hand on the crown of your head, down through your face, through your brain, bathing your neck and shoulders in radiant golden light, the light of the love of the Divine Mother. Let yourself open to receive her light as it pours through your heart, as it flows through your lungs and the inner organs of your body, as it enters your bones, and you feel this light flowing through your bloodstream, down and deep into your pelvis, healing the inner wounds, healing the pain, the holding back, the feelings of separation, flowing through your legs, your knees, down into your ankles and feet. Sit in the presence of the Divine Mother, feeling her hand upon your head, the golden radiance of her loving presence flowing through your body as the breath moves by her grace.
I never said that I was brave. Oh, so long, Marianne. It's time that we began to laugh and cry and cry and laugh about it all. Such a pretty one. I see you've gone and changed your name again. And just when I climb this whole mountain,